Darlene the sardine queen. Darlene the sardine queen. Darlene the sardine queen. Hi, YouTubies, it's me. It's me, Zachary Michael. Also, hello. Hi, how's it going? We're here to cover Darlene because this weekend she posted this video titled "I'm Always Breaking Up with Joe," and I just my spidey senses were tingling. I messaged just Jamie and I said, "Hey girl, hey girly pop." Hey diva girl, would you mind vetting this? Let me know if it's worth a reaction. And she said, not a problem, sure will. And she did. And she said, yeah, we should watch this. So here we are. Darlene's always breaking up with Joe, and she's actually maybe seemingly already picked up a second video or put up a second video called My New Plan to Help Stop My Dysregulation. So, but this one alone is 36 minutes long, almost 37 to be honest with you, and I got her on 1.5 speed, so we're probably only going to get to this one today, because I got an appointment at 6, it's like a telehealth appointment, but I got an appointment at 6, okay, we got things to do. Oh gosh, prediction started. How many times will Darlene whisper today? Okay, who, just for my knowledge, who was the moderator that started that? Who was the moderator that started the prediction? Oh my gosh, and there's Pulpy Syntax. Hi, hello, Pulpy. We just started the YouTube recording. Oh, it was Jamie. Okay, Jamie, you're responsible for keeping track of the counting. Jamie, you're responsible for that. But hello, Pulpy and Pulpy's, what do Pulpy's followers call themselves? Fans of people named Zach. Hello, hi, welcome. It's me, Zachary Michael. We're not gonna do the raid video today because I quite literally did just start the recording for YouTube, and I need to stay on track. But we are watching Darlene the Sardine Queen today, who some of you may be familiar with. And she's gonna sit here and talk about why she's always breaking up with Joe, okay? I don't know if she's gonna I don't know if she's gonna be talking about beef piss today. I think she's gonna be talking about her man. Not his chat coming in with gaping holes, at least buy us dinner tea. I had kippers for breakfast. Does that count? Is that an Australian thing? Kippers? Girl, I don't know what that is. They may be related. I don't get in her bedroom business. You think her bedroom business is related to her beef piss? That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, well, chat, we need to get to. I need to focus. Because also, the other thing I gotta do is go edit this video for the main channel tonight, because that's still not done. And that's gonna be a process. Little fishes, like sardines, but smoked and delicious. I'm in the US, by the way. They're canned herring. My dad got me into them. Eat them on crackers. Okay, so sort of similar to Darlene the Sardine Queen, then. Work. Alright, chat, if you're ready, could you put some 69s in? We gotta see what she's got to say about breaking up with Joe. Joe, by the way, if you don't, well, people are putting 69s in the chat. She does have a long history with Joe. She started dating him and used to call him Blue Eyes, which in my head I sometimes mix up with Rosie dating Jeff and calling him Blue Bear. But no relation as far as I know. And anyways, she was dating this guy for a long time. She stopped dating him and started briefly dating this RC remote control car guy. She hates that man, does not talk to him anymore. Moved Joe into her house, and she helps take care of his dog and or him. He has a lot of health problems. He's in and out of the hospital a lot. She sometimes overshares about his health problems on her channel. I don't cover a lot of that because I'm not interested in his medical tea like that. Dog is gay. Rocket, are you gay? Joe is Rocket's dad, yes. He lives with her. I didn't know that. Yeah, as far as I know, they still live together. As far as I know. So anyways, that's the quick lore to catch you all up. Let's get to. Oh, hi. And she sped up. I have her on 1.5.
Everyone, it's me, Darlene. I'm here with not a story time, but
Thanks,
just going
Maddie.
to explain some relationship stuff, because I'm such an expert. I do think, though, that I have some things that I can share that would be helpful to others, but I wasn't expecting on talking about this today. In fact, my mind for the past few days has been so far out there, trying to figure out how I would be able to explain to you guys that Joe and I broke up again, because that's where my head was going. And I'm going to explain that to you. And
She's like, how do I explain to y'all that I broke up with this man but keep going back to him and he still lives in my house and I love his dog? How old is she? Oh, girl, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I know we know. Somebody in the chat might be able to tell you.
I understand myself so much more now, and Joe, of course. And anyway, I'm just going to tell you what it's been like for, I would say, at least the past couple of weeks, but especially the past few days over Christmas. Christmas that stresses me out, stresses Joe out too. And
Christmas did
I want
it.
to describe the feelings, at least the way I can feel things. I can go from just loving him so much to hating him, and hating the fact that I completely changed my life for him, and why did I do that? And then I gotta find out how to get rid of this. I need to, be alone. I need to be a hermit. I need to go back to that kind of a life.
She's an empath. She did recently say that she was an empath, didn't she? She really did. I feel like that's a crazy thing to say. I mean, certainly I could understand she might feel that way. But I think, yeah, Mama Costi, I think there might be some in between. I think there might be some level of yeah, maybe it's frustrating that you've made changes to your life to help accommodate this man, to help take care of this man. I don't know that you gotta hate him for that. That's the thing about love. I assume if you love him that, you're doing those things because you love him. I don't know.
And then it comes back around that I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? So all of this is going on inside me. It doesn't have much to do with Joe at all. And I feel bad that he has to have me going through all that.
Well, yeah, it seems like you resent that you have to take care of him.
Okay, so first of all, I might get a knock on the door. The little girl next door asked me if I could put an ear on her stuffed bunny animal that her dog Daisy, one of Rocket's girlfriends.
One of Rocket's girlfriends? He's gay! I thought you said he was gay!
The ear out, and I said, yes, I'll fix that for you. So she was supposed to bring it, and I haven't seen her yet, so she could knock on the door at any time. Okay, a little bit about me. I have...
Sexuality is a spectrum. No, that's true. I'm not trying to erase bisexuals. She's the one that said he's gay. She said, ain't you gay? You poop for the girl dog, you hump the boy dog. She said gay. She never identified him as bisexual. I'm sorry, I'm confused.
I've been, all up until recently, the anxious attachment type. You can go look up attachment types, and there's anxious, avoidant, there's other things, there's mixtures of those things. And being the anxious type is stressful. I needed a lot of reassurance. Of course it has everything to do with my past, and especially with a mother who I couldn't be sure we were going to do the things that she said we were going to do. So it doesn't have to be just relationships. But in the way, that was a relationship issue. My mother would tell me something and it was going to be, oh my God, so fun. And then it would just be like, I never said that. I never told you we would do that. Things like that. So I would be disappointed. And that made me a very nervous and anxious child because...
Immediately, I think you all know where... Immediately, I think you know where I'm going with this. Yes, exactly. Therapy! Darlene! Darlene! Like, not to say that, like, her feelings and emotions and stuff regarding her mom aren't valid. Like, I don't know enough about her relationship with that. But you are a woman of a certain age. To, like, and like, certainly, I'm sure your childhood absolutely did impact you. But, like, let's also just be so clear that, like, maybe the internet is not the place for you to air out the problems you're having with your current partner because your lack of unpacking and resolving issues that you had with your mom.
I was never sure of anything. I also didn't know, like, if my fun mother would turn on me she could turn on me at any time. So I didn't know if it's going to be from fun to mentally abusive and sometimes physically abusive. I just wasn't sure. So I was the anxious type. And I certainly know that's what I was now in early relationships. I needed a lot of reassurance. We didn't have texting in those days, but if we did, I would have needed texts. And
oh, that's given Amber Lynn. that's given sending $1 via Venmo to Tommy and saying, please call me. That's Amber Lynn waking up at 9 a.m. and being like, why haven't you texted me good morning yet?
To be sure, it's a terrible way to live. I don't like the anxious attachment. It felt awful all the time. Yeah. And in those days, you had to, like, hope and wait for a phone call. And I would just be, like, so stressed and things like that. And then, I went many years that
Mama Kosti, Jamie said earlier in the chat, 63, question mark. Oops, I didn't mean to push the space bar. So she's an older woman. She has a fully grown adult son who has, I think, a kid that's maybe high school age. So she's older.
Out with any man. And with my husband, though, I didn't suffer with it too much. He was pretty much low-key, and he was still drinking, even though I wasn't. I didn't think I was ever going to have anybody else. Like, I had no chance of having anybody else. I did love him. I was attracted to the man that I met when I was 14, and he was 18, and he was the cutest fucking thing I ever saw. So that stayed with me.
He was 18, and you were 14 when you met him? No, that's not about Joe. That's not about Joe. That's about her husband, or her former husband. I don't know what happened to her husband. I don't know if he passed or they got a divorce or what, but that's not about Joe. That's not about Joe. Which also, Darlene's not the weird part there. Like, what happened to her as a 14-year-old is not her fault. I'm just giving weird.
And, we lived together, so there was no need for him to, like, keep in touch with me, stuff like that. We did everything together, or we just were home. I worked, he watched TV. We were both good with those roles. And so it didn't really show up then, but then it showed up when I moved here. And I started, the online date. Did I? Yeah. Yes, I did meet some of them online. All of a sudden, I can't even remember. But I went out with some guys, and
I have been... We basically started following Darlene, and I say we, I mean me. It's possible people in the community have followed her longer. But I started following Darlene right around the time she moved to Mississippi. And so I've been around for the Mississippi dating shenanigans.
I started realizing that I still had the anxious attachment thing going on. But I don't think I really ever learned about that until after I was with an avoidant type. And then on TikTok... I would look at a lot of relationship stuff, and that's when I really started learning about...
Girl, the doctor Google, the doctor TikTok, how about you call a therapist? What do you mean on TikTok you learned about this?
The attachment styles, and I recognized myself immediately as the anxious type. And then the avoidant type is anxious, avoidant, This one is constantly stressed out and worried, and this one just wants to back away from that because this person's the avoidant, and they don't want somebody saying, can you text me when you get there? That kind of thing. So it's a disaster. It's a disaster unless the two types really know what's going on, and then in the way it's kind of like nice if the avoidant says, all right, I get it that you need a little bit more than I normally provide, and I will, but then why don't you also try to remember that just because I don't text you doesn't mean I've ghosted you and I'm going to fall off the face.
Can I just say, if I clicked on a video, which I did, I clicked on a video called I'm Always Breaking Up with Joe. I don't think I would be clicking on this video expecting advice or knowledge on how relationships are supposed to work. I clicked on this because I want to know why you broke up with Joe. I don't need your understanding of therapy language that you haven't actually heard from a therapist who knows you and your specific story and your situation, Not that I'm opposed to listening. Like, I'm very fascinated with, like, therapy, mental health, etc. Like, I care a lot about it and how it works and stuff like that. I'm just saying Darlene is not the expert I'm going to learn about those things.
Of the earth, that kind of thing. But that takes two people who want to be in a relationship. And so anyway, Joe comes along. And I knew immediately he was the anxious type. By the texts, just the phone calls, and the way he would talk. He asked me a lot of questions back then.
So you're both the anxious type. Shouldn't that be fine?
I discovered that it instantly eased my mind. I didn't need to suffer with my anxious attachment because he was doing the things, and so I wasn't anxious. He was calling me. He was texting me. And it took so much pressure off me that I enjoyed it. But then, after a little while, I started reading things into the texts, like if I would go out, like instead of saying, oh, I hope you're just, getting to buy what you wanted at the store, it was things like, where are you? You've been gone a long time. Now, I would read that as him saying, where the fuck are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? See, I would read it that way because when I was anxious, those are the thoughts I had. So I'm thinking he's thinking those kinds of thoughts, but you can't tell on a text,
Diva. Not she did a BuzzFeed quiz about attachments. It's possible. What she really did was watch some TikToks, but... Yeah, I feel like there's a lot to unpack there. I do think tone is hard to understand through text. I think that's valid. And I also think it's interesting that, like, she's self-aware that she's reading into it how she would respond to stuff. It's wild to me that that's how she would respond to stuff. That's the part. Because it makes sense that it's like, I think we often read text like how we would interpret the situation based on our own experiences. But also, I don't know that just because you're both anxious and you both, like, work in this anxious attachment style where you're like, you have to constantly be checking in on one another. I don't know that that's healthy. I don't think that that's a healthy way to, like, have a relationship. I mean, what the fuck do I know? Famously not successful at having a relationship. Famously, the last year of my life has been shit because my relationship was not successful. So what do I know? I already forgot that I'm supposed to be clocking whispers, so if anyone catches one, please let me know. See, Jamie, it's hard. It's hard.
So that caused some issues early on, and then when we went to couples counseling, I learned that, the therapist, she was, nice, and she's like, it doesn't mean that he was thinking any of those things.
Wait! Wait, I'm gonna have to slow down on my shit talking. She went to couples counseling with Joe? I'm shook. I'm shook. Okay, let me shut the fuck up then. This is one of those times where y'all are like, Zach, if you would have just let her talk. If you would have just let her talk. I still don't know if I need to listen to her yap about what she thinks she knows about therapy or therapy words, but here we are.
Stuff like that. So again, I was learning and he was learning. But now I started heading toward the avoidant type.
Oh.
If I was getting hit too much and wasn't liking it, and I'm going to tell you, when I go to this place, it's because I'm stressed out. If I'm not stressed out, I'm so good at handling these things. Unfortunately, I'm stressed out often.
You, Darlene, are stressed out often? I would have never fucking guessed. Looks like we're eating crow. Listen, I'll eat crow when I gotta eat crow. Although I don't like to... I'm vegetarian adjacent. I'm mostly vegetarian. I'm flexitarian, mostly vegetarian. So I don't really want to eat a bird like that. But if I gotta eat crow, I'll eat crow. That's the flexitarian part.
So sometimes I would be like, Jesus, Joe, just leave me alone. And he might have only texted me once. But I'm all of a sudden ready to not just say, hey, don't worry. I don't know if you're worried or you're just, whatever, but everything's cool, or I could call him. But no, my mind goes to, I gotta break up with this guy. I gotta move on. I can't be with anyone. I'm not built for that. I'm mentally ill. I cannot be good for any man. I gotta figure out where he's gonna live. I gotta help and, figure out what's best for Rocket. I go through all that, multiple times a month, probably every week.
Maybe all the beef makes her stressed. Yeah, maybe she'd be happier if she ate a piece of bread. Maybe if she allowed herself the joys of pizza, maybe she'd be less stressed.
That makes it hard for him, right? Especially since he's the anxious attachment type. And sometimes I go through all this, though, with him never knowing. I'll go through it for one whole afternoon, 1 hour, maybe 3 days. And I'm smart enough to know, let this pass. You're tired right now. Don't make decisions. Don't talk to him about it. And but then it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And the other thing is...
Wait, why not talk to him about it? I'm not saying you have to be like, hey, I think I want to break up with you. But why not have the conversation of, hey, the way you're communicating these concerns isn't jiving with, like, how I would like to be communicated with. Is there a way that you can express these concerns or share these things or communicate with me in a different way?
If I do talk to him about it, because he's the anxious type, now he can go haywire and start to be defensive, start to feel like I'm attacking him. He has the right to feel that, because I can, just turn on a dime. I mean, I can be just wonderful, and then all of a sudden, he's got crazy Darlene.
Oh, wow, that's such a surprise to me that you could just turn on a dime and be crazy. That's so surprising to me, Darlene. I would have never guessed. Who would have guessed that the woman who treats retail employees like shit also has the capacity to do that with her loved ones? Crazy.
I'm glad I'm talking about this because it sounds insane, and it is. It is. However, we do love each other. We care about each other. But for me, that goes away. That feeling goes away like it's going to be gone forever. I can't even imagine it coming back. And that's what I've been going through for the past 3 days. I've been making his life miserable. I've just been locked up in my sewing room. And I try to tell him, just give me space. Just leave me alone for an entire day, like I'm not here. But he can't do that because he hears those things. And to him, it's like, she's fucking leaving me. I'm going to be, in the woods sleeping in my truck, But it's not that he hates. He doesn't want to be without me. He has no problem sleeping in his truck in the woods. And doesn't. He's not afraid of being on his own. He knows he can find his way somehow. Uh-huh. He really doesn't want to lose me. He knows that we have a connection. I know we have a connection.
This sounds so unwell. Darlene, there's so many things here. I feel like y'all, it's not, I don't know.
And he's just afraid we're going to split up. I'm going to meet somebody else like I did last summer, but so did he. But him being the anxious attachment,
somebody else
it
too?
Bothered him. But he doesn't bother me about it, but I know it bothered him more than the fact that he was with someone. I was good with that. I would go to bed at night and say, I hope she takes good care of him. That kind of thing. So, we're on different pages in certain ways. But So the past few days, Christmas is very stressful. Gift giving, gift receiving is even worse for me. But even gift giving, because I need to know I gave that person the exact right thing. We both shopped for each other, and we both returned everything. Mostly because of me. And I don't want to get into...
Listen. She has to be so fucking miserable to live with. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. This is all because she didn't like her Christmas presents he got her? Well, it sounds like he didn't like the Christmas presents she got him, and they returned everything.
That too much because it sounds crazy, but it felt so good. I said, I don't even want reminders that we shared Christmas gifts, things like that. He never even got to see mine. The one
Did that count as a whisper? I don't think she whispered.
I gave to him, that I was going to give to him. I knew I have to return this shit. I gotta just do this. And it was the right thing. Sometimes I have to do things to take the pressure off.
Wait. I was too focused on Megan's question. I think I missed. He didn't even get to see the presents that she got for him?
But it felt so good. I said, I don't even want reminders that we shared Christmas gifts, things like that. He never even got to see mine. The ones I gave to him, that I was going to give to him. I knew I have to return this shit. I gotta just do this. And it was the right thing. Sometimes
she said, we're returning this so that I don't even have the memory of giving you a gift because that's how over the relationship I am. I mean, honestly, if this is the case, then, like, you need to just end it, then. End it. Find him a place to live. I think she was worried he wouldn't like them. Well, she just said, we both shopped for each other, and we both returned everything. Mostly because of me, and I don't want,
get into that too much.
And I don't want to get into that too much.
Because it sounds crazy, but it felt so good. I said, I don't even want reminders that we shared Christmas gifts, things like that. He never even got to see mine.
I don't want reminders that we shared Christmas gifts.
The ones I gave to him, that I was going to give to him. I knew I have to return this shit. I gotta just do this. And it was the right thing. Sometimes I have to do things to take the pressure off. We can always get each other Christmas gifts later. And next year, there's going to be a whole different plan. So,
why are we even talking about it next year? Why are we even... Why, based on what you've said so far, why would there be a next year, Diva? Like, what the fuck?
And then I had car issues with my old car that is now Skylar's car. It needed some work, extensive work. We were told almost, 2,600, something like that. We went to another place. It came down a bit. They didn't find everything that was, the other place found. So I don't have a mechanic like I did in Maine. That mechanic, I knew all my driving life. He was a little bit younger than me, but he was working, learning when he was only like 14 or 15, and I was like 19. But then he ended up with a business later, so he was always part of my car. And I trusted him, and it was very sad to know that I was losing my mechanic.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to find a good one. And
honestly, when I had a car, talking to somebody about fixing my car, I always felt so insecure about that. I always felt so insecure about that because my dad always did those things for me. And so then when he wasn't around to do those things for me, it was like, I don't trust y'all. Because I think y'all see me as a little F-slur that doesn't know shit about fuck when it comes to cars. And you'd be right. But I feel like you're going to try to take advantage of me. And I think, didn't you have a car for like 6 minutes last year? Prior to that, I had a car from the age of 16 all the way up until like, I don't know, my second or third year of living in Chicago. So I had a car for much longer prior to that. But yes, in the past year, I did have a car for about 6 months. Well, not even this past year. I guess it's been longer than that since I had that car. But yeah, I imagine it's the same for women, feeling like mechanics and things like that are trying to take advantage of them.
And so Joe's alarm is just wait a second.
Joe's alarm is going off. Another reason to leave him, Darlene.
I'm to sleep. But anyway, so I was stressed out about that, and we finally picked the place. Now, I have savings for Skylar that I've been saving since she's 2 years old, and I always said it's for what you need to get you through high school, if you move out and you get an apartment, So I'm supposed to save until she's 22 years old. I started when she was 2. So I told her I would save for 20 years, and that's what I'm doing. But now, if we have a bill that can come out of that, but I still didn't want to tap into something just because it's there. I wanted to make sure we were getting a good deal. So we got a better deal at a place close by, and we felt good about that. But then when they went to pick it up, brake lights were on. And when they went in, they're like, the brake lights are on. And the guy said, oh, let me get a mechanic and he'll bring that back in. So it was a little irritating to Derek that they had to wait. It's like, why did they not notice that the brake lights were on and fix that before saying we could come in and, stuff like that.
Sure.
And then they finally fixed it. And he said it was something, the front driver's wheel, something. I'm not going to be able to explain it. And they fixed it. All is good. It was the day before Christmas Eve. They were not going to be open Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. So we were so happy that Skylar got her car before Christmas Eve day.
Okay.
And
what the fuck does this have to do with Joe? Am I missing the plot?
They just came back home, and then Skylar later gets in the car and goes up the street, and everything's locked up. Something is locked.
Oh, this is why she was stressed. Okay. Sorry, I don't know that she really needed to explain about why she was stressed, because I just assume this woman is constantly stressed. I just assume Darlene lives in a constant state of stress, so so my apologies. That makes sense why she's telling this story.
Up, she smells smoke. The front tire wheel I don't think it was a tire issue. It was something inside the wheel, like the brakes or something, was glowing, and smoke, or whatever, heat coming out of it. It could be because it was colder out. And she called her dad, a man. He stopped, and he even talked to Derek, and he said, and it was getting dark, and she was a little bit of a backwoods kind of area, which is not far. I mean, she drove maybe not even 10 minutes, and this happened, but it was more like a wooded area. And so he told Derek, I told you could have called me, I don't know. But he told Derek, I'm going to be here with her until you get here. I will stay with her. And so they trusted this man, and some people are trustworthy.
Sure.
And they called the sheriff. And so the sheriff was there when Derek got there, and the sheriff said, I'm going to get a tow, and we'll bring it back to your place, and this and that. So, of course, we were all glad that she wasn't involved in an accident, because we didn't know what could have happened.
Sure.
But now she didn't have her car Christmas Eve, she didn't have it Christmas Day, and I was so stressed out, because Derek was like, they better make good on this, because I know that has to have something to do with what they fixed or didn't fix. And
I mean, that does sound like a very stressful situation. No lies. And also, literally a hair could be out of place on her head and she would be stressed, okay? Like, I need Darlene to take several deep breaths.
And I stressed out over that a lot. And the fact that it was Christmas too, and that there was going to be gift exchanging, and I just was a hot mess. And the day after Christmas, Derek had talked to somebody, and then he tells me, and this is how it started. They said there's no way that was our fault, and blah, blah, blah. And then so Derek talked to, not the owner, but whoever, the manager, the head guy there.
You better walk your ass in there and start complaining, Darlene. That's the only way shit gets done around here.
And they were on the Chamber of Commerce together and stuff, and so he told him, he said, look, there's no way that this wasn't directly caused by whatever they did. It's that wheel and all that stuff, and the brakes, the lights were on, and he had said there was something, I think the word caliber was used. I don't know, I don't understand it all.
I was gonna say, girl, it doesn't sound like you know what's wrong.
And so that man said, don't worry about this, we will fix it. But he is...
She sounds manic because she's on 1.5. You're probably a little bit right there. I should keep that in mind when I'm sitting here telling her to breathe. It's like, Zachary Marie, you're the one that sped her up.
The money for the tow, because I forgot to get her AAA. That was going to be like one of her Christmas gifts. I'm so mad that I didn't do that. But anyway, I didn't do that. That was yesterday.
Did you do
that I found
now?
Out. Right? Today's the 27th. 26th was the day after Christmas. So I felt a little bit better that something went right, but then, I don't know.
Oh, that was a whisper. That was a whisper.
At her AAA. That was going to be like one of her Christmas gifts. I'm so mad that I didn't do that. But anyway.
Yeah, that was a whisper. That was certifiably a whisper. So, Jamie, I think we're on 1. I think we're on 1.
I didn't do that. That was yesterday that I found that out, right? Today's the 27th. 26th was the day after Christmas. So I felt a little bit better that something went right. But then, I don't know, it all started to fall apart. Last night was so terrible. I don't know. And so it escalated a little bit last night where now I was upset about so many things to do with Joe, which didn't really do anything. It was just me and Joe. And then now he's like escalated and, just like, like, again, defending himself. He felt attacked. So now he's starting to say some shit to me that he knows is going to dig into me. And never anything physical. Never any of that.
Okay, good.
And he doesn't fight with words like I do. Not at all. And then that was driving me crazy. And then I finally just said, this has to stop. Now, I do have a bed now in my sewing room. I have ever since I've lived.
Darlene girl. Darlene girl. You sound insufferable.
Here, but it's always covered with stuff. When I go to bed with Joe, sometimes in the middle of the night, I wake up almost always at 3 or 4, right around there. I cannot fall back to sleep. Rocket usually has done whatever he wanted to do with the blankets, and I either can't cover myself anymore or he's right in the way and I don't want to wake him. Joe could be snoring.
Is she admitting to being verbally abusive here? I don't think that's what she was saying. I think all she was saying is that she just like uses her words in their arguments and to defend herself, which I think is different than being verbally abusive.
All kinds of stuff. So I told him, I said, I'm going to start going in that back room when I wake up if I can't fall back asleep within like 20, 30 minutes. So I've been doing that, and I have been getting a little bit more rest that way because I can put my iPad on ASMR or anything that I want to listen to. Don't have to have my headphones on. I just put it on the chair next to me, next to the bed, and I can listen to it, and that helps.
You better lean into that ASMR. I think she used to have an ASMR channel, by the way. The last few moments of this cracked me up, so we can't end it early. Hang in there, divas. Are people having trouble hanging in there? I'm doing fine. I'm doing okay. The fit is cute today, Zach. I like the beanie and necklaces. Well, it's just one necklace. Maybe you're seeing my headphones. But thank you.
Me to go to sleep, and there's nobody making noise. Rocket's not in the bed. So last night, that's where I started. I wasn't going in the bed with Joe. I don't think I have been in bed with him for like 3 nights. I was just in a mental nightmare mood, and I did not want to be near him. It's like, don't talk to me, don't look at me. I didn't go to meetings with him. I just wanted some time alone so I could figure out how we were going to break up. So last night...
I'm sure some of the laughing is just her being uncomfortable. But also her laughing about how she just needed time alone to figure out how to break up with him is also just a lot. It's just a lot. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. I just need space so I can plot and scheme on how to break up with you. I also am like, at this point, girl, how are you putting this onto the internet and like saying you want to get back with him potentially in the future? So now here, like I don't, this back and forth roller coaster ride of like breaking up, getting back together, breaking up, getting back together just doesn't seem like it's really working out for you.
I finally just like made a point to walk into the other room to say, don't talk to me again tonight. I sent him some mean texts. Okay, it's funny now. It wasn't funny last night.
Why are you laughing about sending him some mean texts, Darlene? Why are you giggling about that? That part's wild to me.
He was miserable.
You are laughing about him being miserable. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
To bed. And I woke up today just in the calmest mood. I don't know what the fuck. And I made him breakfast like nothing ever happened. Now, we will have to talk about this. And I had said that we would... Oh my God, at first I thought I wasn't recording. You know how I go through that. He was going to a therapist. We were going to couples, but he was going to one on his own too. And he started to get bored with the single one. And then the couples one, I was starting to get bored with it. And then he lost his insurance. So it ended up that we just weren't going to be able to go. And I forgot that we were supposed to continue here. So I am going to look into that. Because if anything, it helps each of us to know what the other one is going through.
Okay,
the other thing is that it's very hard for him to communicate with me over anything. And I watch a lot of TikToks over this too.
Girl, shut the fuck up about the TikToks. I liked it when you were referring to things you learned in actual therapy. I don't care what you learned in the TikTok. I don't care what you learned about on the TikToks. I want to hear about what you learned in actual therapy. And I do love the idea, like, couples therapy sometimes just is about that. Like, it's having a third party there who helps you hear what the other person is saying. I've never participated in couples counseling. Maybe would have loved to do that at some point in my life. But I would imagine that that's like a really beneficial part of couples counseling is getting somebody who helps the other person hear what you're saying. Especially, I'm imagining, especially just because Darlene said, hey, diva, I fight with my words. Joe doesn't really use his words. I'm sure he has trouble getting in there, getting a word in edgewise with her, you know?
Anytime I want to bring something up and say, look, when this happens, this is how I feel. He takes it as an attack, and he wants to defend himself. And he will turn it on me. And the words that nobody wants to hear when they want to communicate with their loved one is, but you did this. You know, he'll turn it on me, and I can lose my mind over that. Because it sounds like my mother, first of all, but even if I didn't have a narcissistic mother, at least it helps that I can recognize those things. Doesn't mean he's narcissistic, but he'll have some narcissistic traits. We all do. But narcissism is a full-blown other creature. It's different than just having some narcissistic traits or saying narcissistic things or acting like a narcissist. That doesn't mean you're a full-blown narcissist with narcissistic personality disorder. It's a whole other thing. Where was I? Oh, with all this. Oh, yeah. So I have to either learn to not bring up anything that sucks because it builds, or I have to be really careful. But no matter how careful I am, if he knows I want to say something that maybe I don't like something he said or something he did, or would like him to do something differently in a good way, you know, I would love it if you did this. He'll be like, you know, even if I say, you know, I would love it if you, you know, could help me make the bed or make the bed on your own sometimes. Well, you don't always make it. I'm like, but I do always make it. I make it every day. You know what I mean? And he's so quick to like put it on me that he'll come out with stuff that doesn't even make sense because I do make the bed every day. It's in our living room. I can't see a messed up bed. Now, while I'm making his breakfast, he could be making the bed. Doesn't have to be perfect. I just want him to straighten out the pile that rocket created. Make the blankets flat. You can still lay down and sleep on it. You can even get under the covers. I just want. Okay, so it's.
From one anxious person to another, you got to learn the tools to let those things go and don't let it pile up. Yeah, I feel that. I feel like she could work on. I do feel like she could work on some stuff individually too. That's the other thing about couples counseling is like you have to work on yourself individually too so that you can bring yourself to the couples related stuff. Also, I want to say, Wama noted earlier, TikToks can guide therapy sessions, could be a discussion point. I don't have a problem. Like, I do think there's a world where it's like, oh, I saw a TikTok about this thing. I want to explore that with my therapist. Unfortunately, I don't think that's what she's doing, you know, and that's the part that I'm frustrated about. I do think there's a world where like people sharing about mental health and stuff on the internet and like different types of attachment styles and stuff like that can be so helpful in terms of like helping educate people about language. But you absolutely have to like do that work with somebody who actually knows you as a person. Because what's to say that like Darlene is correctly assessing, you know, what's going on in her relationship. I doubt she says anything nicely to him, therefore he's always expecting her to be attacking. Well, it's interesting. That's K Reaper. I appreciate you saying that because the thought I had was like, well, of course he's gonna assume that the things that you're saying are coming from a negative place or whatever, because you're also quite literally sitting here on this video, posting on this video, laughing about how you sent him really mean texts. So like, I think I think the part that she needs to acknowledge is that she's probably created some level of an environment. This is just me as an outsider based on what she's telling us here, right? But like, when you're sitting here acknowledging that you sent him some really mean texts, I think you got to acknowledge then that like you've created an environment where, yeah, this man probably does feel like he has to be on the defensive. Like, it probably does feel like an attack. And just based on how I know that you've talked about treating people who work in retail and stuff like that, I imagine you are on the attack frequently. And that's not to say that he should necessarily take everything personally or get defensive or things like that. But again, this is maybe like an explanation of it. I'm still not over Darlene returning his Christmas gifts. Girl, same. Girl, same. And I'm also still not over her being like, next year we'll have a different plan. Girl, you why do you think there's going to be a next year?
Things like that. And then that pisses me off, and it's not even about the bed. At this point, it's about how can you not let me say something to you without you hitting me back, hitting with words.
Well, how about you hitting with words first?
And actions, not physical. Just don't even think that. I would never put up with that. In fact, I would probably beat the shit out of him. He's very gentle. He doesn't. And he never calls me names. Never. I call him names. And these are the things that
Darlene, do you hear yourself? Do you... You're sitting here, I don't understand why he always has to be defensive. And you're sitting over here saying, he doesn't call me names, but I absolutely call him names. What the fuck is your problem? That is just wild. See, and this is why the individual therapy is important too. You need to work on some of this for you, girl. You need to work on some of this for you. 'Cause that's wild.
I wish were different. I wish he could make me laugh until my stomach hurts. I wanted that. It was on my dating profiles. I wish he could dance. I got used to that one. It wasn't, something that I thought I'd ever get, but it would be nice. I wish that he could fight more fair. Because I would fight fair if I knew we could just go back and forth a little bit and not...
What do you mean, I wish he could fight more fair? You just acknowledged that he doesn't call you names, but you call him names. Why are you roasting this beautiful lady? Miss Ma'am, did you just hear the last 5 to 10 minutes of this live stream?
Have it be, I really want to tell you something, and then all of a sudden now I'm defending myself. Because now he's going to tell me all the things I do wrong, and all the things like this and that. And so, of course we struggle. But the biggest struggle through all this is me going to that place where I just want to check out. And I can't even imagine ever feeling better.
Off.
I can't.
And by log off, I mean out of this relationship.
And that is so the avoidant type. But we did manage to give me some space. I did not go to meetings with him. And he did not constantly text me while he was gone. He would let me know, I'm here, people are asking about you, stuff like that. And, it gave me some breathing space. And
How about I wish we could stop fighting instead of I wish she could fight fair when she herself does it? K Reaper, I think that is a great reframing of that part. Yeah, why isn't it just in general, I wish we didn't have to have fights,
I'm just telling you guys all this shit because I've just been through the whole little cycle. And by talking about it out loud, it makes me aware why all this shit happens, at least for me. I can only speak for myself. I certainly can't speak for Joe.
I'm also so curious, if she has a plan to, try to work on things and try to get better with him, why share all of this on the internet? She's saying, I just want a place to say this out loud. That's what you could do with a therapist. Because now, going forward, people are going to have this in mind about your relationship with him.
Oh, but I do know of his trauma, of his childhood, his upbringing, and he was even a drug addict at a very young age, a drunk and a drug addict at a very young age. I was drinking at a very young age, and that does stuff. So we do have that understanding, and he is very, very forgiving and understanding. If I turn it back around and say, geez, I'm so sorry, I haven't said it yet today, because I want to make sure I'm done being mentally ill for a couple of days. But if I say that to him, don't worry about it, and he's all good. And I'm not that quick, so, oh my God. But we're not breaking up.
That's a whisper.
I said that. I want to be sure that I'm not going back to mental later today. So I do want to step away from AA a little bit more. I had to step away from it before because it does take up a lot of my time. I do feel anxious, especially after I'll speak. I, come home and I'm like, why did I say that? Now I know that it's nothing bad and that I didn't look like a fool. There are people there that will speak and say stuff that I'm like, oh my God, they're going to go home and they're going to be like so embarrassed that they said all that stuff, or the way they talked, or they went way off topic, or they talked way too long. And
listen, I ain't never been to an AA meeting. But I don't think you should be leaving an AA meeting having judgments like that for the other people that are at the meeting. Like, I feel like that's supposed to be, like, a safe space for folks to, like, share their story. So that's really weird to me. That's really odd to me. Again, I've never attended an AA meeting, so I don't know, but I'm diagnosing her as a mean girl. I think I've known she was a mean girl, just to be clear. I think I was trying to say that in the last video we reacted to, where she was, like, bringing up all the stuff with the friends, and people are like, I don't know, I kind of see her point. You can see her point. That doesn't change the fact that Darlene has been a mean girl to her core for a very long time.
But when I talk, I always feel like, I'm sure that sounded stupid. I don't know. Was I, talking too fast? I worry about it. It's stressful. And then there's a lot of God talk. At times, it seems like sometimes I'll be able to go to a bunch of meetings and that's not the case, and that feels good. But then when it's the case, I do talk about it now and tell my, side of it, and in a very, not a way of putting anybody down, but just saying, well, I know that everybody here, especially in the South, feels this way, but, here's something that an atheist can bring to the table in case there are some, atheists in this room,
Okay, my atheist sister. I will say, what I do know of, like, 12-step programs, is mostly through Peter Mon, and he does talk about, like, a tenet of these programs usually being, like, a spiritual connection to a higher power, and I don't think he necessarily talks about, well, he talks a lot about his spirituality in a lot of different ways, but he doesn't necessarily, I don't know if he's ever referred to himself as a Christian or not, but he does talk about it from, like, a perspective of, like, you can think about a higher power in regards to, like, AA, 12-step programs, etc., in a way that isn't connected with like, organized religion. It's just, like, whatever a higher power means to you. But I do imagine, as somebody, like, myself, as somebody who is an atheist, like, that would be a really big barrier for me in a program like AA, for sure. So I do understand where she's coming from in that perspective. And I don't know if I knew she was an atheist, but I guess maybe I could have predicted that.
Just try to explain that it's not like I'm looking down on things. It's just that I don't believe stuff unless I have actual proof, and the Bible is not proof that the Bible is proof. The Bible is true. Stuff like that. Very easy. If people want to believe this, and I don't care if millions of people believe something, that doesn't mean it's true, and it should be very easy to prove. I'm not saying there is no God or there is a God. I'm not making a claim. I'm just saying that.
Well, if you're saying you're an atheist, you are. You did hear her say she's an atheist in the past, but that was a while ago. Oh. Well, that's me and my faulty memory.
Like proof. And if somebody wants to say, well, there's plenty of proof out there because look at the flowers. Fuck the flowers. Look at the poison ivy or the poison oak or poisonous mushrooms. should be easy to prove. We should be very aware of what's going on. Okay, I didn't mean to get on this topic, but that...
I respectfully also want her to know that there's probably lots of proof that suggests that you shouldn't just straight up eat butter, but what do I know? Fuck the flowers, instantly quotable, exactly. It's giving Zach saying, fuck butterflies, and I stand on that. Fuck butterflies.
That's how I stress out now over AA. Sometimes I'll leave and I'll be like, oh my God, it gives me a headache in my temples. It's like, how come people just can't be okay with somebody saying, I would like proof before I believe something? Anyway, and then we had stopped a couple different times, and we've stopped. And then I go back and it feels good, and I said, I can go once a week for sure, maybe twice, and then you can go on other nights.
Yeah.
But then I just got back into the habit of we were going 3-4 times a week, and it just became a little bit much, and I do lose a lot of time, and I feel so good working here.
I don't imagine that Darlene's good with boundaries, but it does seem like she might do well with implementing some boundaries. It seems like some of this might be resolved by saying hey Joe, I need a certain amount of time to just be with myself. Because I think that's healthy. I don't think you should probably be spending all of your time with a partner. I don't ever want to be in a relationship where I'm required to spend all 24 hours of my day doing stuff with my partner, And yeah, how about just sticking to going to AA once a week instead of 3 or 4 times a week if that's what you need? Well, she did say, don't talk to me, don't look at me. Okay, well, when I say she needs boundaries, also that comes with communicating them in a healthy way.
Joe out of the apartment because I don't have to feel the guilt of, even though he sleeps, he'll say, I'm only sleeping because you're always working. And I say, I'm working because you're sleeping. If you're sleeping, I'm not going to twiddle my thumbs. I'm going to work. So when he's out and gone to a meeting, because he doesn't have any little jobs anymore, he's just here, I feel free. I can work. I don't have to feel guilty. He's up.
What gags me is earlier in this video, she said that he was sound asleep in the other room, and she's just out here ranting about him. And he's literally in the other room asleep.
Doing something. And there's times that used to make him anxious. So I think he's getting better about just going out and not seeing it as though I don't want to be with him, or I'm going to be doing something sneaky with my ex, Robert E. Lee from the Civil War. Or that I have a man in my closet. That was not a dream thing. That was when he was having an episode. He thinks that I have people. And that's another thing.
He had a dream. He had a dream that Darlene was in a relationship with Robert E. Lee? What?
Plays into his side. It's not only just trauma from childhood, it's that he is diabetic, and the highs and lows of his sugar can cause all kinds of weird reactions, moods, all that stuff, not to mention bipolar. But a lot of diabetics are misdiagnosed as being bipolar, so I'm looking more into that. He's probably not even bipolar. It's probably all to do with his diabetes. Okay, I think I'm going to stop.
Girl. What? He's probably not even bipolar. It's probably just because he's diabetic. Sometimes I'm like, do you ever hear yourself, Darlene? It's crazy. Should we tell Rosie? Don't tell Rosie shit. Don't tell Rosie shit.
Now, but yeah, all is good. I plan on starting out my night in bed with...
Also, let's also just be clear. She's saying all this about him, and he's in the other room! He still lives with her!
Now, but yeah, all is good. I plan on starting out my night in bed with him. And I actually want to talk about skin on skin, sleeping. It is the best thing in the world for relaxation. They do it with babies, skin on skin, and especially preemies. And I just didn't feel like talking about that right now.
What the fuck is this fucking left turn we just took? What is this fucking left turn we just took to talk about skin-on-skin contact? We just spent 34 minutes talking about how you wanted to break up with this man, and now you're talking about some skin-on-skin contact you want to get with him tonight. Like, what the fuck? Someone check her nails to see if she's missing any. Jesus. We broke up, so anyways, I'm gonna go cuddle with him. Ooh. Darlene, what the hell?
Because in my head, I've been busy breaking up with Joe for like 3 or 4 days. So, but all is good. My sweet Joe. He's very, very kind to me in many ways. Oh yeah, so all those things that I didn't get, the dancer, the the man who makes me laugh. We do laugh, but I'm mostly laughing about like his dreams and stuff. We will laugh a little bit during movies. Oh, but we both cry.
You're laughing about him thinking you're cheating on him with Robert E. Lee?
During movies. So I like that. He cries. He watches all the Christmas movies, like the Hallmark movies and stuff. And I like that. There are certainly things that I like. And one of them is when we're in bed together and we're back to back and the heat of his body against mine and I feel so safe. And I love it so much. So, there's things. And the fact that he puts up with me. When I tell you guys he puts up with me, I really mean it, that I'm not easy to get along with.
I believe. You don't have to reassure me. You don't have to convince me. This isn't like I don't need proof. I got it. I got it. I believe that.
Times. The rest of the time, I'm great. So we got to just figure out a way to keep me regulated, not dysregulated. And for him, too, to be able to be more comfortable in not feeling attacked if I bring something up. And we'll talk about more of this stuff. I'm so glad I'm not doing a breakup video right now.
You're not doing a breakup video, but you did title this, "I'm Always Breaking Up with Joe."
I was shocked when I woke up and I was like, I can breathe and the weight is lifted. I guess last night I had enough. I don't know. I'm just glad to feel.
So we're not breaking up. We're just breaking up with him in our head. That is something, Diva.
The way I feel today. We're good. We're good for now. All right, I'm going to hang up now. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Oh, you can always let me know in the comments if any of this relates.
Well. Wow. Okay, Darlene. Oh, and then her next video, trying something to help stop my dysregulation. Girl, try therapy. Try therapy. Try therapy. Oh my gosh, this person loves watching my Darlene videos. Create Chaos Gossip. Every time I post one, they're like, I've been waiting for Darlene stuff. I've been waiting for some Darlene content. I've been waiting. This one's for you, Create Chaos Gossip. Okay. Anyways, I really do got to get going, though, YouTubies. I'd love to talk more, but I absolutely, first of all, need to pee, and I have an appointment in 15 minutes, and I got to take Poe out, so I got to wrap this up. But YouTubies, thanks so much for hanging out. Bye, YouTubies. Subscribe.